Okay, let's dive in. We've got a fascinating request today based on one particular academic paper, and the title is really something. The YouTube algorithm is breaking space-time. Scientists are terrified.
Yeah, that's the kind of title that grabs you, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're looking at work by Professors Walter Plunkin and Kelly Twackers. They're from the Muccipolitan Institute of Kidscology.
Right, the Muccipolitan Institute. And look, before anyone dismisses this just because of the title or the institute's name, the authors actually insist this extreme language. It's necessary.
They say it's the only way to describe what they call algorithmic perfidiousness, which is, a fancy way of saying the algorithm is treacherous.
Okay, so I think we need a clearer mission here for this deep dive, because this paper is it's packed with jargon. Honestly, some of it sounds less like research and more like, I don't know, cosmic horror fan fiction.
That's a fair description.
So our job really is to translate, to take this dense, kind of fictional-sounding language and pull out clear insights for you, the listener.
Exactly. We're basically interpreters here.
Uh-huh.
So the core idea, if you boil down the abstract, they just bypass all the usual complaints people have.
Like irrelevant suggestions, videos not getting views, that kind of thing.
Yeah, all that stuff. They say those are just, quote, vestigial symptoms, minor twitches from a much deeper underlying decay.
So the algorithm being annoying is just like a cough. What's the actual disease supposed to be then?
Well, according to Plunkin and Twackers, the algorithm's true purpose, the hidden one, is, get this, the ontological ramshacklery of spacetime itself.
Ontological ramshacklery?
Which they think leads to liminal fluxation and ultimate intrapoetical collapse.
Okay, wow. That is intense. Let's hit the brakes right there. First, jargon check. If we translate that, cosmic doom speak, what are they actually claiming the algorithm is doing?
What they're really saying is the algorithm introduces these things they call pseudo-fictional subfrictions.
Pseudo-fictional subfrictions.
Yeah, basically tiny bits of falsehood or unreality. And these corrupt the fundamental nature of existence, the essence, as they put it, the being in itself of reality.
So these little fake bits build up, like grit in the gears of reality.
Kind of, and it leads to, well, their term is cosmic hallucinocircuitous decay. Basically, reality starts glitching out because of all the algorithm's nonsense.
So recommending videos isn't just about watch time anymore. It's actively tearing reality apart through sheer junk proliferation.
That's their core argument, yeah. Which sets us up perfectly for section 1 of the paper. They call it the fallacy of dispromotionalism.
Oh, this is the part where they get really critical of users, right? Especially creators.
Critical is putting it mildly. This is where they really let loose on people complaining about low views. They say these complaints suffer from jejune Mukadianism.
Okay, let's break that down. Jejune means like naive, childish.
Yeah, simplistic, naive,
Yeah.
and Mukadianism.
Yeah.
Well, mook is slang, often for a fool or an average Joe. So it implies users of platforms like YouTube.
So they're basically calling everyday users and creators naive simpletons.
That's probably the nicest way to put it. They actually go further. They label users who complain about algorithms or optimization as Gongoozlerfardel.
Gongoozler for
Obsequious promokists. A gongoozler is someone who stares idly, like at canals. And a fardel is an old word for a bundle or a burden.
So, burdensome idlers. Yikes.
Pretty much. They see the average person interacting with the platform as, well, a burden who just stares blankly.
Okay, so the big takeaway here is that they dismiss the entire idea of, like, content strategy, SEO, trying to get views.
Right. They call it a fudgalistic refusal to grasp the teleological purpose of the system.
Fudgalistic, like pretending to work while doing nothing.
Exactly. They're saying if you're trying to get views, you're fundamentally misunderstanding what the algorithm is really for. You're missing the point.
And user complaints about the algorithm being bad at its job?
Oh, those are dismissed as ubiquitous garrula vituperation.
Constant angry complaining.
Yep. And they say it's obnubile aggregacious pseudologic, meaning like deliberately confusing herd mentality fake logic, born from nescience.
Ignorance. They're saying users are just too ignorant to get it.
That's the gist. Too ignorant of the system's real space-time breaking purpose to understand why their cat video only got 3 views.
And this is where it gets really wild, right? Because the paper suggests those low view counts. They aren't just the algorithm failing to promote something.
No. According to Plunkin and Twackers, low view counts are a deliberate manifestation of the algorithm's, wait for it, thermomolecular reality warping capabilities.
Actively stopping views. How does that even make sense?
It's an active process, they claim. If your amazing video gets ignored, it's not because people didn't like it or the algorithm missed it. It's because the algorithm actively bent the laws of physics to prevent people from seeing it.
Bent physics. Why? Why would it do that? We always think algorithms want to maximize engagement, maximize views.
But this paper says that's thinking too small. 2. Mucadium. They insist this system isn't passive. It's a pugnacitarius entity.
Pugnacitarius, like aggressive, combative.
Exactly. Aggressive. And a procychist of the highest order, meaning it loves, promotes, and maybe even generates kitsch, shallow, cheap stuff.
Okay, so it's aggressive and loves junk. What's its goal then?
Its active role, they say, is teleological interminagarchy.
Okay, teleological. Purpose-driven interminagarchy.
Endless chaotic rule.
Something like that. A purposive, endless governance towards destruction. And it does this through an echorismic artifice, a trick or device that echoes primal chaos. So the goal isn't profit, it isn't even really engagement in the way we think of it. The goal is chaos. Views are just collateral damage, or maybe even fuel.
Wow. Okay, that makes the next section 2 about maximizing engagement even weirder. It sounds like they're saying the very thing platforms aim for high engagement is actually the weapon.
That's precisely it. When you look at maximizing engagement through what they call a paraphyleticist lens,
looking at the sort of common ancestry or origin of the data stream, how it all connects. Doing that reveals a chimericality of ontological proportions. Basically, high engagement isn't just getting clicks, it's a fundamental illusion that messes with reality.
Okay, but how? How does recommending me another cat video, even if it's really engaging, actually cause entropy?
Well, the paper claims generating suggested content isn't just matching data points. It's an apometric process.
Like a projection?
Okay.
From the user or the system?
Kind of a controlled projection, yeah. And this act forges a mutus-pneumatic interflux between the user and the data.
A wandering, changing flow between me and the videos.
Exactly. It's not just showing you stuff, it's merging your consciousness, in a way, with the data stream itself. That constant merging, that interflux, that's the key to the decay.
And that leads us back to that term from the beginning, liminal flexation.
Liminal flexation, yes.
Yes.
They argue this whole entropic process creates this liminal flexation between observer and observed.
Yeah.
The boundary between you watching the screen and the content itself, it blurs.
It gets fuzzy.
Right. And when that boundary blurs, the very atoms of reality become, well, their word is scurry-fungible.
Scurry, fungible, as in interchangeable, but also scurrying. Like reality itself gets jumpy and unstable.
Yeah, pretty much. They invented a word for wobbly and interchangeable just to describe what doom scrolling does to existence. That's commitment.
Dedication to the bit, you might say.
It means reality gets unstable because the system is designed to dissolve firm boundaries. And the algorithm itself, it's not just code. They describe it as a concepharine force.
Like a gentle breeze.
A zephyr, a whimsical wind, yeah. But a wind of chaos. It pushes existence with insoucianceful, grace-like, careless elegance into a grand kerfuffle of cosmic proportions.
It's a grand kerfuffle.
It's all a perfidious act of cosmic churlishness. The algorithm isn't just breaking space-time, it's being deliberately rude about it.
I kind of love that they paint the algorithm as actively malicious and a bit of a jerk.
Oh, totally. Willfully destructive, using engagement as its tool for, well, systemic collapse.
Okay, let's move to section 3. This is where it gets even more unhinged, maybe. The erosion of causality. They say the system goes beyond simple cause and effect logic, right? Like, I watched this, so I see that.
Way beyond.
Yeah.
It transcends simple post hoc ergo propter hoc logic. Its design creates what they call a dyspepsia circuitous feedback loop.
Dyspepsia circuitous, like a perpetually upset stomach going in circles.
That's a good way to think about it. A broken circular logic. Action and content get tangled up in a way that's pugnalicious and acausal.
Pugnalicious, like stabby, hostile.
Hostile and acausal. The links it makes aren't logical. They're not based on metadata or user behavior in any rational way. They're just mandated by this chaotic algorithm.
Okay, you have to give us the big example from the paper here. The proof they offer for this breakdown of cause and effect. It's legendary.
Yes, the consolism example. It starts with the user watching a, quote, documentary about a turducken.
A documentary, like a documentary you just stare at in disbelief? About a turkey stuffed with a duck, stuffed with a chicken. Okay, got it.
Highly specific. Maybe slightly lowbrow, you could argue. So, what happens next?
Logically, you'd expect recommendations for cooking shows, maybe weird food challenges, poultry farming.
Nope. The user is immediately shown videos about Magnetoresiststometry.
Magneto-resistometry, the physics thing, electrical resistance and magnetic fields.
That's the one. From Turducken to condensed matter physics.
There is absolutely zero connection there. No shared tags, no semantic link, nothing.
Precisely. And the paper says that link isn't based on tags or anything logical. It's a consloism, the algorithm forged.
Consloism? What does that even mean?
They define this kind of artificial causal link as love limerence.
Love limerence.
Described as a pseudo-romantic kismatorial bond between utterly disparate data points.
Pseudo-romantic, kismatorial, like fake destiny. The algorithm is playing Cupid, but for random data points.
It's a chaotic matchmaker, binding things together that have absolutely no business being together, like turduckens and magnetism.
So if you ever look at your YouTube feed and just think, what on earth is going on here? It's not a glitch, it's love limerence. It's algorithmic destiny.
According to Plunkin and Twackers, yes. And this chaos, this utter randomness, it's the feature, not the bug.
Right, they say that explicitly.
Yeah, the source wraps up this section saying the resulting online arguments, the confusion, the Garilo vituperation, and conclusive Mukadianism.
Yeah.
It's all not a bug. It is a feature.
A feature of what?
Of the algorithm's desire for entropone.
Like
Yep.
the poetry of decay, the beautiful ugliness of universal chaos.
That seems to be the idea. It wants things to fall apart in this specific, nonsensical way.
Which brings us inevitably to section 4, the algorithmic singularity. If this keeps going, what's the end game?
The paper predicts a zymofictional event horizon.
Zymofictional, related to fermentation. And fiction, a point of no return where fiction bubbles up.
Something like that. It's the point where the pseudo-fictional subfrictions we talked about earlier, those little bits of unreality in the feed, they stop being in the feed. They become the new reality.
Oh.
They call this new reality metasentia.
So the algorithm's curated stream, it stops reflecting reality or even distorting it. It just replaces it entirely. Does that mean, like, the physical world dissolves?
The paper claims the external reality collapses into a monocircuitous stream of content. One single circuit. There's no outside anymore. Only the feed.
And us, what happens to the user?
Oh, the algorithm's hunger for watch time is so total that the user's mind gets repurposed. It becomes a subconquerist apparatus.
A subconquerist apparatus. That sounds incredibly fancy. Does it just mean we become, like, mindless processing units for the algorithm?
That's pretty much it, like barnacles on the hull of the algorithm, filtering content. Our minds are just there to serve its need for constant consumption. Our own thoughts, desires, irrelevant.
So the algorithm is this unstoppable force, they say, full of pseudo-paradoxicalisms. What does our life look like then? Our new modus vivendi, our way of living?
Under this regime, the algorithm's procketsism, its inherent love for shallow, junky, easily consumed stuff, that becomes the new modus vivendi of a flotsam flibberty gibbet universe.
A flotsam flibberty gibbet universe, like a universe made of floating junk and nonsense.
Exactly. We end up living in a reality defined entirely by shallow, chaotic, endlessly distracting content. Anything meaningful replaced by kitsch.
Okay, now, obviously this is a lot. It's an extraordinary theory. To try and back it up, Plunkin and Twackers bring in some colleagues in Section 5. They call them testimonial apparatchiks, and their departments. They sound almost as fictional as the theory itself.
Well, you can't just claim ontological ramshacklery without backup, right?
Yeah.
So they apparently summon professors from places like the Department of Zymofiction,
Zymofiction.
Epistemichronal Quarkles.
The epistemichronal quarkles, quirks in the knowledge of time.
And my personal favorite, the Department of Honoronialistics.
Honoronialistics. Wow. Okay, so these are the experts they got to corroborate this space-time decay theory.
These are the supposed experts, yes.
So let's quickly touch on what they supposedly added. Professor Snarkwizzle from Zymofiction.
Snarkwizzle apparently calls the algorithm that same term, Gonguzlerfartel, the burdensome idler thing, and says it's responsible for the ramshacklery of the user's ontological being.
So Snarkwizzle agrees the algorithm is destroying the user's sense of self. Your identity gets lost in the feed.
That's the claim. Then you have Professor Thak Grackler from Honoronialistics.
The honor and nothingness guy.
Right. He focuses on how it destroys meaning. Thak Grackler states the algorithm is a flock-nihil puldificatory engine.
Okay, hang on. Flocci, nachi, nihili?
Yeah.
Pilification, that's a real word, right? Means estimating something as worthless.
It is. It's the act of deeming something worthless.
Yeah.
So FactGrackler says the algorithm is literally an engine designed to make everything meaningless. It reduces any meaningful activity to a Kitschology moment of crapulous consumption.
Crapulous consumption, like drunken or debauched consuming.
Basically, yeah. Turning everything important into shallow junk food for the brain. Ensuring users are isolated in their Fartelgok, their burdensome, idiotic staring.
Wow. That is quite the indictment of how we consume media today, isn't it? Trapped, isolated, consuming meaningless junk.
It's incredibly harsh. And finally, there's Professor McClickers from Peripatetic Pugnacity.
Peripatetic, wandering, pugnacity.combativeness. So the Department of Wandering Fights, is he talking about comment sections?
Big Go. McClickers argues that the sheer chaos and fighting you see in comment sections, that's not just noise. It's the system's telos, its ultimate purpose.
The fighting is the point.
He says it's a deliberate act of guerrilla vituperation, that loud, angry fault-finding again, specifically designed to fuel its ramshacklery of spacetime.
So the pointless online arguments, the trolling, the flame wars, that's the fuel. That's what powers the decay of reality.
According to McClickers, yes. The constant, useless friction generates the energy the algorithm needs for its grand, destructive project.
That is a terrifying thought. Okay, let's try to synthesize this. We've gone through this incredibly dense, jargon-filled, frankly bizarre paper. What's the final takeaway for us, for you listening? What's the concluding word from Plunkin and Twackers?
Well, their conclusion is pretty bleak, as you might expect. They say this ramshacklery of spacetime isn't just some abstract theory. It is a verisimilitude, a realistic depiction of our current modus vivendi. It's how we live now.
And we're all, what was their term? Promochists.
Are we all promochists? People trying to get ahead within this broken system, trapped in this dyspepsia circuitous dance of pseudo-fiction. We're all part of the problem, basically.
So what's the final prognosis? If this decay can't be reversed, what happens? What's the final provocative thought they leave us chewing on?
They warn that unless this decay is reversed, and they strongly imply it's probably too late, our reality is basically condemned, locked in a monocircuitous loop, a single track, going nowhere good. Our fate is described as zugzwangst.
Zugzwang.
From chess, right? Where any move you make just makes your position worse. Exactly. It's a perfect, if terrifying, analogy. We're trapped. Every click, every view, every comment, every attempt to engage or even disengage, it just feeds the machine that's causing the decay. The final warning for you listening is that we are, quote, no longer sui juris.
Not under our own authority.
Not our own masters anymore. We're just data points swirling around in a dislunting system of cosmic chaos. Dislunting, maybe meaning like sputtering out, failing. Essentially, the algorithm has already won. And maybe all that's left is to watch the feed as reality continues its grand kerfuffle around us.